Great, we're practicing with the awareness of Apana Vayu today. Apana is a downward force of prana, and even though it has a different name, it's similar in vital force of energy through your body. So the 5 Vayus, the 5 vital forces or winds as it's literally translated, are all prana, and they make up the prana, the maha prana, just like when we talk about a master seal. Maha means master, and they make up master prana within your body. And apana is the downward force. So apana is a force of elimination, of getting rid of any toxins, any waste in your body, and it moves downwards through you. It also connects to menstruation and moving any energy out, so clearing energy as well with the exhale. So as we close our eyes, we can take our hands to our knees or our thighs in Gyan Mudra with the thumb and index finger touching, either with your palms turned upwards, which would be relating to an upward force of prana, or with the palms turned downwards, which would be relating to apana, and apana as the downward force. So choose whatever is best for you. As you turn the palms down, you feel a grounding, maybe more centering energy, but either's nice. And as you soften your eyes, closing them, let's take 5 big breaths. With an inhale to fill up and rise the energy up as prana, and an exhale to empty out, sending the energy down as apana. Inhale, imagining the energy through the front of your body and filling up your lungs. Exhale, softening down through the back of the body, down the spine to your root. Inhale to expand again, filling up the lungs, swelling the belly, lifting your heart. Exhale to soften down, sending the energy down, drawing lower belly in. Keeping that going, and notice if you can reverse the flow of the inhale up through your spine now, up through the back of your body, and the exhale down through the front of your body as you draw lower belly in at the end of your exhale. I read about Apana Vayu. Apana Vayu translates as the air that moves away. The dominant energy of Apana Vayu is downward and outward movement. Its energy moves primarily in the lower abdominal from the navel to the floor of the pelvis. Apana is the aspect of the prana that governs the ability to eject or eliminate what is not needed to the system. Just as with the breath we exhale what is not needed after assimilating the in-breath, the Apana Vayu is the force behind the elimination of waste in general, working in the kidneys, colon, rectum, bladder, and genitals. It is also the moving force in the process of reproduction, which essentially moves new life out into the world from the assimilation to childbirth. The healthy functioning of Apana Vayu is as vital as the Prana Vayu. Without the healthy functioning of Apana Vayu, one lacks motivation and determination. One feels lazy, dull, and even confused. Apana Vayu is associated with the element of earth, and it is the energy of the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, which is concerned with having a strong, sure, and reliable foundation. As you take one more breath, just noticing this downward force of your exhale, and maybe noticing pelvic floor lifted as well at the end of that downward exhale. Great, let's now stretch out our legs. We'll stretch them wide. Maybe just have a little circle with the ankles round one way and then the other once you've got them wide. Hope you can see me okay. Feel into the thighs moving out to the side as you turn one inner thigh downwards and the back of the thigh, the glute, backwards a bit. And then just position your leg down to the ground again, turning one inner thigh downwards and the back of the thigh backwards. And that just makes you really centered, equal through your body. Let's inhale, reach up with the arms, lifting the prana up. As you exhale, down with Apana, downward force. Keep that going in your own way. Inhale to rise up again, looking up. Exhale, folding forwards, drawing lower belly in, softening. Inhale to rise again, last time. Maybe activate the feet as well. And exhale to fold, drawing lower belly in, softening your shoulders and your jaw. Inhale to a flat back, lifting up. Let's take one hand to one shin and reach the opposite arm over. Pressing down through both legs and heels, flexing the toes. You can feel into this diagonal stretch, freeing up the organs and creating room. As you lengthen through this side, feel into the back of the kidneys and pressing down to both hips equally. So noticing the energy at the back of the body and the energy moving down. So you're pressing to the earth. And as we root in yoga, we always rise up to the top a bit more. Great, let's take the upper arm behind the back now, sweeping it back. Feel the shoulder peeling back and just stay here for one more breath. Breathing deep to the sides of the ribs, expanding your lung capacity. Inhale, coming up to center. Just have a shrug of your shoulders and let that stretch go. And let's go to the other side. Taking hand to shin and opposite arm sweeps overhead. A big arch. Noticing the feet, flexing toes, spreading them apart. Maybe pressing down with both legs. Feel the back of the thighs and the hips again. And as you breathe with an inhale, rising, and an exhale, sending the energy down to the ground. Inhale to rise. Exhale, energy down to the ground, possibly feeling pelvic floor lifted. Inhale to lift up again. And exhale, let's take the upper arm behind the back, sweeping it behind, draw back the top shoulder and looking up gently. Softening your face, your jaw, softening through the shoulders. Inhale, coming up to the top and center, and let's shrug our shoulders a few times to just ease that through. Great, interlacing your fingers with index finger pointing forwards. Let's start a big pot of abundance, golden elixir, a chemical body. And as we work with our energy in yoga, with our breath and our awareness, we're always trying to balance, always balancing the 5 winds, the 5 vital forces, the 5 Vayus that move in all directions as we circle round, out and in, up and down, and emanating from a centered force out in this big circle. Let's circle the opposite way, reversing your circle round, and trying to create a circle as big as possible. So you're moving the back body a little bit further back maybe as you move back, and then reaching as far as you can to both feet. One more big circle round. Great, let's come to center with an inhale, reach the energy up. As you exhale, take the energy down. You can move the legs a bit closer if you need to now. Twice more, inhale, reach the energy up. Exhale, press the energy down. Once more, inhale, lifting. And exhale, pressing the energy down, clearing and grounding. Great, let's take our outer knees and draw the knees in towards each other, sealing this in as you take your head to your knees and your arms around your shins. Feeling your feet and the hips on the ground, pressing down slightly as if you were a seed being pushed into the earth, rooting to the earth. Inhale, coming up, and let's take it onto our hands and knees now, please. Hands onto shoulders, knees onto hips. As usual, have a little sway. As you spread your fingers, notice the pads of the hands pressing down. Notice your shoulders and hips and the shins and the feet. Let's practice simple cat-cow with the awareness of pressing down more and how that affects our body's movement. Pressing to the feet, the tops of the feet and the toes. With an inhale, lifting, gaze, looking up. Feel the hips moving backwards. Exhale, rounding, draw the lower belly in, press the ground away and arch. Inhale to lengthen again, looking forwards, press the ground with your feet and your toes. Exhale, rounding, arching, drawing up from the ground as you draw through your core. One more time, inhale to lengthen, looking forwards. And exhale to round, hollowing, arching, pressing from the ground, rooting down. Inhale to a flat back. Let's take it to child's pose. And as you move your hands overhead, maybe you come onto your fingertips to have a little sway from side to side. Feeling into the downward force of the stretch to your hips, moving the hips back a little bit to beyond your heels. And as if you were moving the hips back to the earth behind you. One more breath. Let's come up a little bit onto our tabletop position. Now we're going to pigeon pose. Just feel close to the earth and relax into a nice stretch out. Move the right knee to the back of the right wrist, please, and then we'll walk our left foot behind, straightening the leg and checking it straight behind us. Feel the hands either side of the first knee. Pressing down, lift up through your pelvis and hug the outer hips in towards each other. So you're hugging into center, really activating the pelvic stability and strength. Let's take 3 bows with an exhale, bowing forwards, and an inhale, rising up. Keeping the length to the back foot as you move with your breath. Exhale to bow, inhale to rise, looking up. Once more, exhale to bow in, and inhale to rise up. Let's now keep up a little bit with our body. You can have your hands to the sides or on blocks if you need to have them on blocks. Tuck under the back toes and trying to lift up the back knee. So you're stretching out that back leg to the back toes. Now, variation. You can always take any time you come into pigeon pose. Feel into the right glute, in the center of the glute, the piriformis. Piriformis muscle is a tiny muscle in the middle like a knot, and this knot knots all the other glute maximus muscles together, and your hamstrings, your lower back. So it's really important to stretch it out, and that's why we like pigeon so much. One more breath. Great, taking the knee down and move the foot to be flat. Again, let's lower down a little bit, but as we lower, we can either take the hands forward as normal, or wrap this left arm underneath the right, and that lets you just move onto the left upper arm as you lower down to the ground. It gives you a twist and a shoulder stretch as well as the pigeon, but this is harder than the normal form, so if it's too hard for you, you can just come up to a normal form that's right for you, maybe lowering all the way down with the hands overhead and checking that the hips are level and that they stay level in the twisted form with that left arm underneath the right. And you're looking to the right a bit more. If you're in the twisted form, maybe the right arm wraps around the back and you find the foot underneath you. And maybe if you can find the foot, you can hold the fingers around the big toe, first 2 fingers and thumb. One more breath. And then slowly coming back to center. We're going to just do one more stretch here. So taking your right hand to the middle of the mat. Let's move our left hand back behind us, looking back into the twist. You can either stay here or we can move a bit more dynamically. With an inhale, reach the left hand forwards, looking forwards. As you exhale, reach the hand back, looking back. Keep that going. Inhale to reach forwards and exhale back, pressing to the ground. One more time. Inhale forwards and exhale back. If you have a form of Another variation of pigeon that's more advanced, you can take that, you can take mermaid if you want to, if you're working on that. Stay for a few more breaths in your chosen posture. Otherwise, let's move the left foot up the mat, the left knee, and come onto a tabletop position as we shake this right leg back. Shaking all fresh blood and nadis, the energy lines getting refreshed as well. Shaking out the joints. And then let's come back onto our hands and knees. Have a little sway from side to side, like we're wagging our tail. And move the same shoulder to the same hip as you sway from side to side a little bit. Feeling into the stretch through the sides of the bodies. From the hands to the feet. Pressing all the points down a bit more to feel into awakening the stretch and deepening it through you with your awareness. Notice how you press down, it really awakens the awareness. Let's now go to the other side. Left knee to the back of the left wrist, please, and walking the right foot back behind you, straight line. Check the foot straight and the top of the foot's down to the ground. Let's move the hands to the sides of the mat, lift up through the pelvis, draw the pelvic floor lifted, and draw the outer hips into the center. Feel lifted through the spine, softening shoulders and face and jaw. And now let's take 3 bows again, please. As you exhale, bowing forward, softening. Inhale to rise up, press the ground away. Exhale to bow. Feeling all the points of contact. Inhale to rise. Once more. Exhale, bowing in, pressing to the feet and the shins. Inhale to lift up and lengthen. Exhale, let's bow down now. And either you take the normal form, hands overhead, or the right arm threads underneath the left, and we move onto that right upper arm. Leveling the hips as much as possible. The left hand can stay overhead if you're in the twisted form, or the left arm wraps around the back, and maybe you find the first 2 fingers and thumb around the big toe again, finding the foot behind, underneath you. As you breathe through, feeling the breath lengthening from the back toes all the way to the head. Lengthening as you soften your shoulders, your face and your jaw. Breathing through, feeling the ground and giving more weight to the ground, but keeping your pelvis a little bit lifted to stabilize there and not drop too much weight through your left hip. Taking 2 more breaths, please. And then let's come up slightly, about halfway, taking the left hand to the center of the mat now. With an inhale, reach the right hand back behind you and staying for a breath as you look behind to that right thumb. You can either stay there or we move into our dynamic stretch. With an inhale, reach the hand forward, looking forward. As you exhale, take it back, feel the ground. Inhale to lengthen, hand overhead, and exhale, twisting, right shoulder peeling back. Once more, inhale to reach, and exhale to twist, softening your right shoulder as you turn and gaze around. And either staying here for an extra breath, or you can get comfy with the hands to the ground. Maybe you pull the right foot in, and maybe you take a former pigeon that you're working on, mermaid, or full pigeon, and then taking the hands down to the ground, let's walk our right foot, right knee up the mat, and the left foot behind as you shake out that left leg. Shaking out the joints, the hip, the nadis, the energy lines. There's said to be 72,000 nadis in the body. The nadis, the energy lines, relate to the Vayus, the 5 winds, the vital forces. Let's move into our sway again as you take your body to tabletop. And then let's move into a circle, spiral with the hips, the shoulders, over the wrists, building strength. Circling the opposite direction, please, when you're ready. Great, pressing hands, shoulder width apart, taking toes under. Let's lift up into downward facing dog. Have the pedal out. Feel the hands and the feet, the shoulders and hips. Notice as you press and root down, spreading the fingers and the toes. Notice that you can lift up and rise through the body. Feeling from the hands, pressing down, rising up the arms to the shoulders, lengthening through the spine to the hips, and then feeling from the hips the downward force of Apana down to your heels as you stretch out each leg, bending one knee, pressing the other heel down. Let's move from down dog to plank for 3 breaths, strengthening our core and shoulders. With an inhale forwards, you can have the knees down if you want to. Exhale back to down dog or child's pose if that's better for you. Inhale coming forwards to plank again. Exhale bending knees back to down dog or child's pose. One more time, inhale forwards. Now exhale bending knees back to down dog or child's pose again. Let's come forward to plank last time, and then lowering your knees down to the ground, stepping the right foot behind left for a side plank. Just check your right wrist is under your right shoulder as you lift, sorry, your left wrist is under left shoulder as you lift your right hand up. Feel into your side waist as you press to both feet. Feel the lift to your hips and your pelvis, drawing lower belly in. Exhale, take the right arm under left. Inhale, reach it up to the sky, and twice more. Exhale, under. Inhale to lift and turn. Exhale, under. Inhale to lift. We can lift the right foot off the ground in our mini half moon. If you want to take any variations of this, taking the right hand to the foot, drawing the knee back with the shoulder, you're really welcome to. One more breath. Flexing the foot if it's free. And then taking the hand to the knee if it's possible. You can take the foot down just in front of you and have a stretch there and just enjoy that. You can come down onto your forearm if it's a bit hard on your wrist and just rest on your side as well. If we're feeling quite strong today, we can take that hand to the outer foot and start to lengthen that foot up for a stretch that way as well in your tabletop form. But either way, let's move down to the ground now. Take the left forearm to the ground and your right knee into your body. Have a break here with a few breaths. And then either you stay with the knee bent or you take the foot straight up to the sky. You can hold on to the back of the calf or the thigh or hand to foot. Looking up perhaps to encourage awareness from the ground to the sky as you crest to the ground. Great, let's move on to our forearms, both forearms to the ground, elbows under shoulders please. Have a little wriggle onto the front of the thighs. And you can choose either to stay in Sphinx with your hands in any mudra that you like, either the hands pressing down to the ground, the hands in prayer, your hands interlaced with the index finger pointing forwards, or fingers and thumbs touching in Hakini Mudra. Or if it's nicer for you today to stretch out, progress to seal, moving the hands into a diagonal position at shoulder width apart with the fingers turned out, and press the ground away to seal, softening the shoulders back, looking forwards, feel from the toes, the front of the feet, lengthening through. One more breath, either one, lifting your heart, feeling from the ground as you rise. Great, and then let's look down. We can take our hands interlaced, either keeping all the fingers as they are or index finger pointing forwards, whatever feels nice and comfortable for you, and come into a forearm plank, widening the shoulders, feeling into the whole of your body, lengthening and strengthening. Maybe your knees are down to help you if you need to. Pressing to the heels, feeling the feet, the legs strong. Let's move on to our other side plank now, to the other side. So coming up to tabletop for a moment. Just set yourself up with the hands under shoulders. We'll move with the left foot behind the right now, left hand up to the sky when you're ready, taking your side plank form. Being lifted through the sideways, the transverse abs again, drawing through your pelvis, pelvic core and lower belly in. Inhale to look up to the sky. Exhale, thread the arm underneath the right side body. Inhale to rise again. Exhale under. Keeping that going in your own time, moving with your breath, in the breath guiding you. And inhale to rise up. You can stay here in your side plank form or lift the left leg up. Flex the foot and stay there, or we take the hand to the foot, draw the knee and into thigh stretch. Feel the hips, the pelvis, drawing the left shoulder back, turning to the sky. And either one of those, if you want to come down onto your forearm, we're going to be resting our forearm soon, and you can do that harder variation with the legs straight in your tabletop, or we're lifting up the legs straight above us, or bending the knee in for a nice stretch. And then let's all come down onto our right forearm, please. Right elbow under shoulder, and enjoy a stretch when you're ready. Lifting up from the ground and grounding back down as you press and root to the earth. And lift with your breath, with your awareness and your gaze to the sky. Great, let's come back onto our forearms, please. And again, either you practice Sphinx pose, wiggling the front of your thighs to the ground, the front of the legs, the feet and the toes, choosing your hand options, or we take seal option as a harder, lengthening through, softening shoulders and face. Breathing deep. One more big breath with an inhale to lengthen. And an exhale to soften down. So take crocodile pose, crossing forearms, swaying out the feet from side to side. Softening your jaw, maybe having a sigh. Getting the body on the ground, the front of the body. And then stretching the arms overhead, long through the body, with your hands pressed together in pranam, prayer, and the feet drawing together, pressing to the toes. Feel the activation and the stretch through the upper arms as well as you lengthen the hands and the feet away from each other a bit more. And then let's soften with the hands overhead, shoulder width apart, palms turned down. Opposite arm and leg lifts when you're ready. Moving one hand and one foot to the above the ground, just hovering it a few inches or a bit further away. Moving equally, so each arm, each leg's balanced, each glute is working and activating, balanced. Breathing deep. Maybe if it's a bit too much for you, with both opposite hands and legs, you can just move the feet together. Well, one foot lifts at one time and then the other foot, and then changing to the hands. When we're ready, let's soften again, crossing our forearms and swaying out our feet in crocodile. Have a sigh again, feeling your body on the ground. And then let's straighten the arms overhead, pressing the palms together again in pranam prayer. Then the activation, the stretch to your fingers, your toes once again. This time we're going to do a swimming action with the hands. Hands are shoulder width apart. And we move one hand back behind us, turn to that shoulder, and the hand goes to the back of the hips, the glute area, just turning, pressing down to the ground with the other hand and the feet. Move yourself back to center again, sweeping the arm overhead, and we go to the other side. Turn the other hand, with the palm facing up to the opposite glute, hip area, looking over that shoulder, pressing to both feet and hands, and then moving down, back to center, and moving with your own breath, breathing into each side, trying to balance out each side, sweeping the arm back, peeling the shoulder back, pressing to the ground. Keep that going a few more times. And noticing which side is a bit harder for you to turn and lift up, a bit stiffer, just for your awareness to soften there and create some room. Allow the Maha Prana, the Master Prana winds to free up and loosen any tension. Coming back to center, let's take our elbows to the ground and our hands around the outer jaw of chin area to your face. You can lift up both feet and both big toes can touch each other to make it a bit harder, activating your glute muscles. We can just stay with the feet pressing down to the ground. You can even move the feet to the sides of the mat with the inner arches, the inner seams of the legs pressing to the ground, which is a nice active crocodile stretch. So whichever is best variation for you. We've done this one before, either this level or the harder level with the feet drawing into yourself. You can go a bit harder if you want to, pressing up to seal with the arms wide and the fingers turned out, as well as you lift up. Drawing the shoulders back and the feet towards your back body. Exhale, lowering down when you're ready. Let's take the hands underneath the shoulders, press back to child's pose. Lengthening your lower back and freeing up any tension. Feel the hips moving back to the heels. Maybe you walk your hands back towards you a bit, so you really press your hips back to your heels. And then maybe the hands soften around the feet so that the arms are fully relaxed and your hands are to your feet, your head on the ground as a seed. Taking the hands forward, let's lift into downward facing dog, please. Paddle out when you're ready. And then with an inhale, lifting right foot up to the sky. Exhale, draw the knee in to your chest, looking forwards. Twice more, or you can rest if you need to. Inhale to lift up to down dog. Exhale, draw the knee into your chest, looking forwards. Once more, inhale to rise. Exhale, draw the knee in, pressing the ground away. Let's step this right foot forward, top of the mat, grounding left heel down, rise warrior. One, Virabhadrasana one. Legs are strong, feet grounding. Feel the outer edges of the feet to the mat and lift up through the inner arches to inner thighs. Choose your hand options in warrior one, whatever feels best for you. One more breath. And then we're going to circle the arms around in the winds. As you exhale, reach the left arm forward, the right arm back. And then inhale, coming back to center. Keep that going. Trying to keep the right heel down if possible. Both heels and the left heel. As you turn, feeling into both feet and the turn through the spine to the rib cage. One more time. Circling the arms as you soften your shoulders. Inhale to center. Exhale, let's drop forward into humble warrior, bowing the body over the leg. Either the hands are to the sides or you can interlace the fingers behind you. Drawing through the shoulder blades, feeling into the feet, grounding down, strong legs. One more breath. Inhale to rise up to the top, straightening the front leg. Maybe you flex the front toes up towards you as you press the heel down. Inhale, let's press the foot flat and bend the knees and take the hands into a reaching position forwards. And just staying here for one breath as you stretch out. Inhale to rise up to the top. Exhale, let's take the hands all the way down to the ground now. Step it back to plank. You can move through your vinyasa, through down dog or child's pose if you need to rest. Exhale to lower, elbows in for your full Press up or knees, chest, chin. Inhale to rise to Cobra Up Dog. Exhale back to Down Dog. Now the pedal out as you steady, feeling into the balance, pressing down to the ground with Apana, the rooting force, and lifting up through the body with Prana, the rising force. Inhale, let's lift left foot up to the sky. Exhale, draw the knee in and looking forwards into your high plank or rest if you need to. Inhale to lift up with the foot again, three-legged dog, stretch it high. Exhale, draw the knee in, looking forwards, and your right knee can be down to help you. Inhale to lift it high again. Exhale, draw the knee in, looking forwards. And one more time as we inhale, rise up. Exhale, draw the knee in, step the foot forward, top of the mat, grounding right heel down, Virabhadrasana 1 as we rise. Lengthening to the fingertips, choose your hand options again. Softening your shoulders, your face and your jaw. Breathing deep. Bringing into the feet, grounding, and the inner arch rising. As you ground with prana and rise. Ground with Apana and rise with prana. One more. Inhale to lift the hands overhead. Exhale, let's bow forwards. Hands can be free or we interlace, switching the grip so the opposite index finger and thumb is on top. Draw the shoulder blades together, pressing to both feet. Feel the back heel, lengthen through. One more breath. And your strong legs, strength of your foundation. Inhale to reach up to the top, looking up. Exhale, take the hands forwards, lengthening from the back heel to your fingers again. Feel the downward force, really strong, pressing down. Inhale to reach the hands up to the top. Exhale, hands down. Let's take one more vinyasa, either through or plank, lowering down, or child's pose or down dog to rest. Inhale to lift for your back bend, cobra or up dog, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, back to down dog. 3 more big breaths, feeling into the balance of prana, rising, and apana, sending downward the energy. Great, let's inhale, lift our right foot up to the top now. Exhale, step the foot forward to the top of the mat, turning the toes so that they're parallel, coming to the center of your mat. Let's take the hands forward, reaching them forward. Feel into the balance of both feet, the outer edges of the toe of the feet and the inner arches. And feel the hips pressing back. Bend the knees to activate the tilt of the pelvis. And as you draw up from the inner arches to the inner pelvis, sending your hips back in this long line, lifting the heart, softening your face and your jaw. One more big breath. Leaning back a bit more with the hips if you can to lengthen your lower back in this decompressive breath. Then inhale, looking forwards. Let's turn the feet out to be parallel. Send the hands to the knees and start to pulse in your own way. Or you can be a bit more relaxed and come up to standing with the legs wide and your arms pulsing in any way that you like. As you pulse up and down, feel the downward force as you're pressing down through the legs with your strength. One more big breath. Great, let's come to center. Make a circle round with your body to one direction and then all the way to the opposite side, and then come back to center, circling the other way around in this big circle and coming back to opposite sides. Let's come up to your goddess, fierce goddess stance, elbows out and drawing the shoulder blades back. Turn the toes out to the diagonal, same direction as the knees, turning the inner knees back a little bit more to activate the back of the thighs. Feel the core activated through your inner thighs. You can pulse like this if you want to, or stay in stillness. One more breath. Great, let's take 3 rounding breaths as we exhale to center, draw lower belly in. Inhale to lift the heart looking up. Exhale to center, feel the legs strong. Inhale to reach the heart up. Once more, exhale into center. And inhale, lift the heart up. Let's turn one palm down and one palm up. And with an inhale, we just stay here. As we exhale, we press the palms away from each other and lift up to the top. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, press the palms in opposite directions and lift up through your body. 3 more times. Inhale, back to center, gathering the energy in. Exhale, pressing the energy out. And keep moving with your breath. Enjoying this movement. Great. Exhale, inhale, coming back to center. And exhale, press the energy up and down. Let's reach both hands overhead. Interlace the fingers, index finger pointing up, long through your spine, lifted up to the top in Uttara Bodhi, lighting up, light vessel mudra. And then remembering which arm you had facing down last time and which palm you had facing up. Let's go to the other side now and we'll practice the breath in the reverse style as well to experience that. So this time with an exhale, we're going to bend the knees, press down. And with an inhale, lift the arms and press up. Sorry, I'm kind of confused on this side, that's it. And lift the upper arm up and the bottom arm down. Exhale, press the energy down again. Feel the palms and bend the knees. Inhale, lifting up to the top arm, pressing the bottom arm down. Keep that going for 3 more breaths, noticing, moving with your breath and balancing the winds, the vital forces of prana, apana, avidana, samadhi, and dhyana as well. 1 more breath, with an inhale to rise, and then staying here, dropping both arms to the sides for a moment. Heel toe your feet into center to be hip distance apart. And as we ground down, just feeling into your body's stance, the balance you've created, maybe having a shuffle or a sway or a shimmy or shrug your shoulders in your own way, whatever feels good. As we stand into Tadasana, mountain pose, rooting to the earth. Mountain pose is our first pose in the Hatha Prakriti-dika, the guide of yoga that was written in the ancient Vedic times. And as we ground to our feet, we rise up from the ground. 1 more breath. And let's now practice tree pose. We'll steady our feet hip distance apart and parallel, always checking in with our feet as our foundation for all standing postures and balances. And then taking 1 foot up the inner seam of the other. So maybe the inner ankle, the inner calf, or the inner thigh. Finding the foot above or below the knee, whatever's best for you. And if you need to hold on to something, have something near you, a chair or a wall in front of you, where you're welcome. Taking your hands to your heart when you're ready, but feeling into that standing leg, really rooting down to the standing foot, the big toe, the little toe, noticing the outer edge of the foot and lifting up through the inner arch. You can start to move any arm variations that you like or go into advanced tree if you feel that's nice for you and have a more deeper stretch. As you inhale, reach the hands overhead, and then we blossom the arms out to the side, perhaps bending the elbows. You can touch index finger and thumb again in Gaya Mudra, softening your shoulders back and lifting your heart. Feeling into the firm foundation of your legs, of your core line, drawing lower belly in. Feel the hips wide with the pelvis and draw the hip bones, the outer pelvis into center a bit more, lifting through Mula Bandha if you can and lengthening through the spine. You can practice dancing tree if you want to, move your arms, And feel the rooting force of Apana with that standing leg, really rooting down to sway the arms with the breeze, the winds, your breath. Great, when you're ready, dropping the arms down, dropping the foot, or you can lift this knee out to the side if that's in your practice. Maybe take your hand to the foot and reach the foot out to the side as well, finding the balance there. If you can, go for it. But otherwise, taking both feet down, have a shuffle, have a sway, and have a shimmy to shake that off. Well done, everybody. Let's go to the other side. Pressing to both feet, firming the foundation down again, checking in, spreading your toes, noticing the outer edges and the inner arches. Let's take the opposite leg up the inner seam, grounding down through our foundation, finding what's nice for you on this side and keeping the balance. When you're ready, taking your hands to your heart again, feeling into your core, the pelvis, and we're drawing inwards with the pelvis as well as lifting up and rooting down through the standing leg, the foot. Feel into your root, your foundation, and again, when you're ready, lifting the hands in any variation you like, reaching up, growing tall, lengthening. And as you root down, when you exhale, branching your hands out, maybe Gyan Mudra again, index finger and thumb touch, softening your elbows, bending them slightly to move the shoulders back and lift your heart. Feel the gentle sway of prana, of your breath, of the movement through your body. And then when you're ready, moving your arms into your dancing tree, taking any variation you like. Breathing through, feeling the winds of prana and apana. Inhale to rise and exhale to descend. When you're ready, either taking the foot down to the ground or bringing the knee up to the side of the body, drawing it in, flexing the foot, maybe taking the hand to the outer edge or the first two fingers and thumb to the big toe and stretch it out that way. I'll have a little shimmy and shake when you're ready, stretching through or shimmy and shake it out. Great, and then let's come to a seated position, please. Sitting down to the ground. Feeling into the legs stretching out forward, moving any glute flesh to the sides again, sitting balance through the sit bones and lengthening the feet forward. Feel the feet flexed and spreading the toes away from each other for our forward fold. With an inhale, reach the hands overhead. As you exhale, hovering halfway, drawing up through lower belly and pelvic floor. Feeling the downward pressing force. Inhale, lifting the hands up, looking up again. Twice more, exhale to forward fold. Feeling Apana, pressing down. Inhale to rise with prana. Once more, exhale, drawing lower belly in, lengthening over the legs. And inhale to lift up, lengthening, keeping that length as you exhale, folding forwards, drawing through your lower belly, firm the feet, and hover the hands or moving the hands where they're nice for you. You can hold on to a strap as well, take the hands to the feet or to the sides, softening your shoulders back, your heart beaming through. Let's take 3 breaths here. Feeling into the hips moving backwards slightly, the pelvis tilting down towards the mat, the legs and the back of the legs, the back of the knees moving towards the mat, and this downward pressure. With an inhale to lengthen through the spine, keep the legs active, the toes strong. Exhale to fold in, drawing lower belly in. Inhale to lengthen forwards, feel the back of the body swelling with the breath. Exhale to fold in, pressing to the ground, drawing lower belly in. One more breath, please, as you inhale, looking beyond the toes. And exhale, keeping the gaze long as you soften and release down. Inhale, let's lift up to the top, reaching hands up. And exhale, hands to the sides. Taking your right foot up the left inner seam of the leg, just like in our tree pose and now for Janusasana. And this helps you lift your foot up a bit more each time for tree pose if you do the stretch on the ground as well. We keep our knee up to the side. If there's any shaking of the leg, you can have a cushion or a block underneath your knee and it just helps it soften and release down. Moving any glute flesh, any thigh flesh again, so you're centered. Flexing this left toes. With an inhale, we rise. And an exhale, bowing forwards, draw up through lower belly. Keep that going. Inhale to rise up, pressing to the ground. Exhale, bowing, drawing up through lower belly. Inhale to rise. And exhale to bow in, grounding, feeling the legs pressing to the balls of the feet, the soles of the feet. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to fold down all the way down, keeping that length as you lower, looking beyond the toes, hands where you like them, either to the sides, holding a strap or to your foot. And if you can reach the foot quite well, the same arm as the leg that's lengthened, you turn that palm out so it faces away from you. And that palm then takes the arm that's reaching inside the left leg, so the right arm. So the same arm as the leg is the wrapper and the grabber. We say that the wrapper is always the grabber. So often in yoga, when you progress a bit more, you get confused about this. It's always the same arm as the active leg, mainly, is the wrapper, and then that holds on to the other wrist to be the grabber. And we can stay here for 2 more breaths, softening through. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to soften the jaw and the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen over the leg again. And exhale to soften down. Inhale, lifting up, lifting arms if you like. Now exhale, hands to the side. Let's switch the legs. You can take the hands behind and shake out the legs if you want to, or just have your legs on the ground, shake them and pat them down. That's nicer. Let's go to the other side. Moving the left foot to the inner seam of the right leg and the right foot straight, flexed and centered to the right hip line. So check that, moving any glute flesh, sitting to both hip bones balanced, and checking if this left knee needs something underneath it again to stop the leg quivering. With an inhale, let's lift our hands up. As you exhale, hovering, bowing forwards, keeping it going. Inhale to rise. Exhale to soften, folding down, press to the ground. Inhale to lift up, feel the feet and the balls of the feet. Exhale to forward fold, drawing up through your core, pelvic floor. One more time. Inhale to rise. And exhale to fold in all the way, keeping the length as you lower. Hands as you like them again. And once again, the same arm as the leg turns the palm out, and that takes the other wrist. Then we level shoulders, level hips as you inhale, looking forwards. Exhale to fold in, drawing up through pelvic floor. Feel the back of the legs, the back of the thighs to the ground. Feel the hips, the sacrum. Rising with an inhale. Folding and sending the energy down as you exhale, drawing lower belly in and pelvic floor. One more big breath. And then slowly rising with the hands over the head, please. Exhale, hands to the sides. Either hands behind you, shake out the legs again, or shaking the legs down to the ground. Activate your core if your legs are shaking above the ground. Great, let's start to either rock and roll down to the mat on our backs, or we slowly lower down as we usually do. So rocking and rolling, whatever feels nice for you, or slowly lowering with your core. Feel the feet, and as you roll through the spine, drawing the lower belly in, softening your shoulders and your head as you lower. Reaching the hands overhead and straightening the legs if you want for full body stretch out. And then let's take the hands either sides of the hips. Move the feet towards the hips for Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. As we keep our feet parallel and hip distance apart, let's start to move the hips away from the ground with an inhale, lifting and adjacing the legs and the glutes, lifting through the front of the body. As you exhale, sending the back of the body, all of the vertebrae like a chain moving to the mat and turn to the hips. Keep that going with an inhale to rise the pelvis, press to the legs and the feet, the toes, all equal. Exhale, lowering through the back of the body from the upper back to the mid, the lower, and the hips, drawing pelvic floor and lower belly in. Inhale to rise again, with the legs strong. Exhale, lowering through the back of the body, feeling the lower belly and the pelvic floor as you lower the hips. Inhale to press the ground away, with Apana pressing down. Exhale to lower down with this Apana, the downward eliminating force. And one more time, either staying in stillness as you lift up or keeping that going. And if you need to rest, drawing your knees in for a hug, swaying from side to side. If you're staying up, you can maybe lift the heels off the ground to notice the legs and energize them, waken them, strengthen them, feel the stretch a bit differently, activating the muscles of the backs of the thighs and the glutes. And if you feel safe here with the arms overhead, gently floating them over for floating bridge. Feel the stretch through the upper back a little bit differently, and the whole of the spine in this arch. And you're ready, moving down, and if there's any other advanced bridge you'd like to take, maybe one leg lifts. Maybe the hips are resting on your hands for these leg lifts, and you just drop the hips onto your hands, onto the ground to protect your lower back, and lift one foot off, and then the other, or you can stay in your bridge, you can stay strong. And if you want to practice full wheel, once you've dropped all the way down, for advanced back bend, taking hands either side of the head, elbows facing up, ground through the feet, lift through the pelvis and the spine. Take yourself onto the crown of your head. Notice your hands and your feet set up really equal, and lift up when you're ready. Maybe the heels lift off the ground, and as you breathe through, softening when you're ready down to the ground, and carefully lowering onto your back, hugging knees in. Let's circle our hands and feet above the body, circling the wrists and the ankles one way and then the other. If there's shoulder stand or headstands in your practice, you're really welcome to practice them, of course. And shoulder stand is an uprising sensation, but all of the energy is moving down through you to your shoulders, your head, and this downward sending energy, the downward force as well. Taking shoulder stand or plow, whatever feels nice for you. You can just rock on your back from side to side. Have a few breaths, maybe sighing out. As you sway from side to side, once you're down after your inversion, you can sway your head as well if you like to, your jaw, your chin, softening all the way through. And then when we're ready, let's practice Shavasana Relaxation. As you soften to the ground, feeling the back of your body, back of the legs, calves, the heels touching, feeling the hips touching the ground and the back of the body, all the points that are touching the ground to the shoulders, and the head. Giving even more weight to the ground, dropping down. As you notice a breath with softness, and this softness has a stream of energy, a stream of life force through you, connecting to the stream of golden abundance, of golden light, shimmering and sparkling. This golden light shimmering through every cell, every organ. And as you enjoy this silence, this stillness, listening to your heart for a few more moments, thanking your heart and celebrating your heart's song, your heart's prayer. We read a passage by Richard Anna McNeil about how you have the strength always inside of you that we cultivate and celebrate in yoga, and that you are your own healer. Inside you, in your core, is a healer, a medicine woman, who just wants to show you what you need to care for yourself, whose only function is to love and honour you. For this is the way to survive and thrive. We were built with this woven into our fabric by nature. You need to remember to believe she is in you. She may have been hidden by these distorted stories, mishappened words, and horrible events that happened and got stored in your body, masking your knowing. You may have been told in many different ways from many different voices that you were without magic, without truth, power, spiritless, not sacred. But love is your essence, is your source. You were born with this beautiful piece inside you, a magical totem that is there just to teach you how to love and nurture your life force, to nourish your nature, to nourish your energy, to make you well. Call her back into strength, word by word, breath by breath, listening and taking notice with your hearts and your guts. Slowly call her from your depths. Let her kiss you, empowering you from deep within. As you thank your heart, your soul, your body and mind, thanking this balance, and taking this into your life, into your day, into all of the interactions and the situations with the balance of you, your thriving inside energy. As you start to stretch your hands, your feet, you can start with your wrists, your ankles, have a stretch any way you like, you're welcome. Rolling onto your side, coming up to seated when you're ready. Let's 3 And let's feel Apana once more with 3 Oms. And either you sound this quietly within you, just feeling the energy sending down to the ground with the Om energy moving through you and down through you. The Om is the sound of creation, and it really helps to feel this Apana as well, helps to kind of seal it in and get your body to be in the awareness of that downward flow at the end of your practice. So 3 Oms to ground and center, please. With an inhale to prepare. Om. Inhaling to prepare. Om. Taking your hands to your heart if you wish. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Inhale to prepare. Om. Do shantis for peace as you bow your head to your heart. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.